All right, so let's get into the story of a barber named Carlos. His journey kicks off in a world he absolutely owned, the barbershop. And for him, it wasn't just a job, it was his whole culture, everything he lived and breathed.
You can almost feel it, right? Just picture the scene. The music is blasting, the walls are covered in football shirts, there's just this incredible energy in the air. It's the weekend, and the place is absolutely packed. And cutting through that music, you've got that constant, familiar sound of the craft, that buzz of the clippers. It's the sound of precision, of community. It's the sound of everyone lining up to get sharp before they head out. Yeah, this was Carlos's world.
Now, in this world, Carlos wasn't just some barber. Not at all. He had mastered the fade game, like way early on. He spoke the language of guards and levers, and that clipper in his hand, it was basically an extension of himself.
I mean, his work was just flawless. You wanted a low taper? It came out perfectly clean. A skin fade? The blend was so smooth, it was practically surgical. And that spray lineup, to cap it all off, man, it was picture ready. Every single time.
Let's just put it this way. In his neighborhood, Carlos was that guy. He was the one you went to when you needed to look your absolute best, no questions asked. He was skilled, he was confident, and he was totally at the top of his game. But then, well, trends do what they always do. They started to change, and the game began to shift. All of a sudden, clients weren't just asking for cuts. They started showing up, pulling up screenshots on their phones, and pointing to something totally new. And this was the new request. Not some subtle highlights, not a soft blonde. Nope. They wanted that full-on, dramatic, icy transformation. You know, the kind of high-stakes color that leaves absolutely zero room for error.
So Carlos, the king of fades, looked at this and thought with all the confidence in the world, how hard can it be? You just bleach it. So he got to work. First lift looked bright, the second one looked even lighter, seemed like it was going to be a piece of cake.
But then the hair was dried and styled, and it wasn't ice, it was warm, kind of yellowish. Look, it wasn't a complete disaster, but it definitely wasn't luxury. And that's the thing, it wasn't that premium result the client was paying top dollar for. And that is the moment every barber, every stylist hits sooner or later. It's that humbling realization that your confidence and your skill in one thing don't automatically make you a master of another. Chemistry had just taken down confidence.
And this is where you see the two worlds just collide. See, fade culture is all about precision you can see with your own eyes. It's muscle memory, it's total control. But color culture, that's a whole different game. That's chemistry. It's all about these unseen variables like hair porosity and natural undertones, and you just can't eyeball chemistry.
Carlos finally realized he was working the old way. Making these huge color decisions based on nothing but memory and instinct. It's a method that, as a lot of pros find out the hard way, can get really, really expensive when you factor in corrections and unhappy clients.
So all this frustration led him to ask himself this one pivotal question, the kind of question that can totally change a career. What if getting perfect color wasn't about luck? What if it wasn't guesswork? What if it could be a system? And that one question, well, it sparked this massive shift in how he did everything. He made a decision to move away from distrusting his gut and instead to lean into a system that was actually driven by data.
So he started using this tool called AIQ Colorist Pro. And honestly, the best way to describe it is like having this super experienced senior colorist standing right over your shoulder, guiding your decisions and backing you up. His whole process was just transformed overnight. Now, before he even thought about mixing up a formula, he analyzed. Step 1, what's the hair's real tone and undertone? Step 2, let's check the porosity. How is it actually going to soak up this color? Step 3, cross-check the plan against actual color theory. And then finally, step 4, tone with intention, not with your fingers crossed. And this just perfectly captures the whole philosophy, summed up by AIQ Hair's founder, Ulises Garcia Perales, who said, "Clients don't pay for guesses, they pay for precision." Carlos was now building his business on precision, not on chance.
So, what was the reward for making this huge shift in his work? It's actually pretty simple. Structure is a premium service. And when you have a premium process, you deliver a premium result.
So the very next time that client came in asking for that icy look, the result was like night and day. It was cold, it was crisp, it was clean platinum, exactly what was in the screenshot, just perfect.
And this just became the new reality for him. No more frantic runs to the supply store for emergency toners. No more of that last-minute panic. And, maybe best of all, no more of those awkward, trust me bro, it'll look better after a few washes explanations. Just consistent, reliable results and clients who had total confidence in him.
And just like that, his whole professional identity was transformed. He wasn't just the fade guy anymore. He had evolved. Now he was the creative color specialist in his area.
And here is the biggest takeaway from all of this. When you go from guessing to having a system, when you back up your artistry with data, you don't just get better results. You do something way more important for your business. You earn the right to raise your price. Because that kind of structure, that predictability, that's a premium service. And it leaves all of us with a really big question to think about when it comes to our own work. Is the price you're charging based on your instinct, or is it based on your intelligence?